December 2024. Manhattan. It begins not with a bang, but with paper. In the dim quiet of a courthouse filing room, someone slides a lawsuit onto a desk. No press, no noise, just an ordinary folder filled with an extraordinary accusation. Inside, the story of a 13-year-old girl, a legendary after-party, and the names of two giants, Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter. The public has seen Diddy's empire unraveling. But now, Jay-Z, the calculated mogul, Beyoncé, the queen of poise and perfection. Their names are dragged into the same darkness. Jay-Z calls it ridiculous, a heinous lie. But in the game of legacy, even a whisper can shake foundations. Especially when the throne you sits on is worth over $2.5 billion. The Carters didn't just rise. They ascended. Carefully, ruthlessly, quietly. And now everything they built teeters on the edge. To understand this fall, we need to go back, not just to their rise, but to the decisions that built an empire in the shadows. Because this isn't just about a lawsuit, it's about a dynasty that always had secrets buried beneath its gold. Brooklyn, late 1980s, crack cocaine devours neighborhoods. Gunshots echo off the walls of the Marcy projects. And in the middle of it all, a boy named Sean Carter learns one lesson. Survive. No silver spoon, no connections. Just hustle. He sells drugs. He writes rhymes. He studies the streets like a chessboard. By his mid-20s, Jay-Z is rejected by every major label. So he creates his own, Rockefeller Records. His debut album, Reasonable Doubt, isn't just music. It's a manifesto. Ownership. Power. Vision. That mindset doesn't just build careers. It builds kingdoms. Meanwhile, in Houston, a different story unfolds. Beyoncé Knowles is 8 years old and already lighting up talent shows. Her father quits his job to manage her. Her rise is polished, precise, a pop star being engineered in real time. By 18, she's a global sensation with Destiny's Child. While Jay-Z builds from the streets, Beyoncé is built for the stage. They meet sometime in the late 90s or early 2000s. Depends who you ask. Jay-Z once said she was 16. Beyoncé says 18. Some say 17. The truth shifts with the interview. It always has. Because their relationship wasn't just romance, it was strategy. Two rising brands preparing to merge. And from that moment forward, every detail of their private life would be filtered through the lens of control. May 5, 2014, New York City, the Met Gala. Fashion's most exclusive night. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and her younger sister, Solange, arrive dressed like royalty. What the cameras didn't catch, an elevator did. Later that evening, inside the elevator of the Standard Hotel, surveillance footage records a scene that will soon go viral around the world. Solange, usually calm and composed, suddenly unleashes a furious attack on Jay-Z, kicking, punching, screaming. A security guard struggles to hold her back. Jay-Z doesn't fight back. He simply absorbs the blows, arms raised in defense. And Beyoncé? She stands perfectly still, poised, silent, watching. No sound, no words, just 30 seconds of raw, unexplained rage. It was a glimpse into the one place no fan had ever been. Behind the curtain of the Carter dynasty. The elevator video leaks. The world explodes. Speculation fills the vacuum. Why would Solange attack Jay-Z? What happened in that elevator? The prevailing theory? Infidelity. Jay-Z had cheated on Beyoncé, and Solange was defending her sister's honor. Tabloids name Rachel Roy, fashion designer, former business associate, as Becky with the good hair. Internet detectives go wild. Clues, cryptic captions, even a line from Beyoncé's song lyrics become fuel for the fire. And the Carters? They do what they always do. Say nothing. Release a single, rehearsed statement. Our family has problems, and we're no different. We've moved on as a united family. That's it. No denial, no detail, just calm in the eye of the storm. But behind the scenes, a transformation was underway. Beyoncé wasn't just healing. She was preparing to speak in the only language she's ever trusted, music. 2 years later, the world gets Lemonade, an explosive visual album that doesn't just confirm the suspicions, it transcends them. It's cinematic, heartbreaking, empowering. Songs like Hold Up, Sorry, and Don't Hurt Yourself echo with the fury of betrayal. Beyoncé sings of cheating, of breaking down, of nearly walking away. She names no names, but every line is loaded, every image sharp. Becky with the good hair becomes an internet meme. Jay-Z becomes a meme. But Beyoncé? She becomes a phoenix. Critics hail the album as a masterpiece. Fans see it as strength, vulnerability, and vengeance, all wrapped in gold. And Jay-Z? He responds the only way he can. 444. His musical apology. A man admitting failure, owning his flaws, begging for redemption. And together, they rewrite the narrative. Not as victims of scandal, but as survivors, artists, partners. Then they hit the road again, hand in hand, cashing in on the drama with a tour that earns over $250 million. It wasn't just damage control, it was business genius. By the 2010s, Jay-Z and Beyoncé weren't just icons. They were an institution. Their music, just one slice of the pie. Behind the scenes, they were building something bigger, something most fans couldn't see. A financial empire. Jay-Z wasn't rapping about money, he was blueprinting it. His first move, Master Recordings. In 2004, he became president of Def Jam. But he didn't just want the job, he wanted leverage. He negotiated ownership of his Master Recordings. That deal alone, worth millions in royalties to this day. Then came the chessboard. He sold Rocawear for $204 million, bought Armand de Brignac champagne, Ace of Spades, and turned it into a hip-hop luxury status symbol. In 2021, LVMH bought half for over $300 million. Next, Deuce Cognac. When a valuation dispute exploded with Bacardi in 2023, Jay didn't back down. He sold his stake for a reported $750 million. Streaming. He bought Tidal for $56 million, then flipped it to Jack Dorsey's company Square, now Block, for $297 million. He wasn't just making money, he was multiplying it. Beyoncé was just as ruthless, and just as refined. $50 million with Pepsi, $60 million with Netflix. Her Ivy Park fashion line with Adidas became a statement, not just a brand. Her concerts became global events. Her most recent Renaissance tour grossed hundreds of millions, matching sports teams in revenue, surpassing many. But what makes Beyoncé dangerous in business isn't just her talent. It's her control. She controls her image like a studio executive. She releases albums with no warning, launches visuals that break the internet. Every move is a marketing masterstroke. Together, Jay-Z and Beyoncé weren't just rich, they were strategic. In 2023, they purchased a Malibu estate for $200 million, the most expensive home ever sold in California. Jay-Z also collects fine art. He famously spent $4.5 million on a Jean-Michel Basquiat painting. It now hangs inside their home, not just as decoration, but as a financial asset. Every dollar they spend is a message. We're not celebrities. We're royalty. And they don't move alone. They created the now famous Black Excellence brunches. Attendees, billionaires, artists, moguls, politicians, even the Obamas. At the center of it all, Jay and Bey, sipping champagne, surrounded by a world they helped shape. But in every empire, power creates gravity. And sometimes the people drawn to you are the ones who can bring everything down. Every empire casts a shadow. And Jay-Z and Beyoncé's empire? It's massive. For years, the Carters projected flawless control. But behind the perfection, the internet saw patterns. And in the dark corners of the web, the whispers grew louder. Some said the Carters weren't just rich and talented. They were chosen, groomed, inducted. Jay-Z's infamous diamond hand symbol, was it just a Rockefeller logo, or a sign of secret society allegiance? YouTube exploded with evidence of Illuminati rituals in Beyoncé's performances. Backmasked lyrics, pyramid hand signs, occult symbols. Jay-Z fueled it himself, wearing shirts with Aleister Crowley's phrase, "Do what thou wilt." Was he trolling? Maybe. But when power reaches a certain height, jokes become prophecy for those watching below. And while the Carters laughed off the conspiracy, other shadows weren't so funny. Rymir Satterthwaite, a man who spent over a decade claiming to be Jay-Z's illegitimate child. His mother allegedly had a relationship with Jay in the early 90s, when she was 16. Jay-Z has never taken a DNA test. Courts threw out one case due to statute of limitations. But in 2024, Rymir came back with a new lawsuit, accusing Jay's legal team of corruption. He wasn't seeking money. He wanted the truth. Jay-Z's camp called it baseless. But the timing? Curious. Rymir's claim hit just weeks before an even bigger bombshell. Kathy White, dead at 28. Some say she was pregnant. Some say she was Jay-Z's mistress. She died suddenly of an aneurysm in 2011. No foul play was found, no evidence of wrongdoing. But for internet sleuths, the narrative wrote itself. Inconvenient secrets don't just disappear. They're made to. And then came the Aaliyah theory. That her death in a 2001 plane crash, just as Beyoncé's solo star was beginning to rise, wasn't coincidence. That it was orchestrated. No facts, just speculation, fueled by grief, fed by coincidence. But in the world of myth-making, facts are secondary. What matters is the story. And suddenly the Carters weren't just legends. They were suspects. Even Beyoncé wasn't immune. One viral rumor claimed she faked her pregnancy with Blue Ivy. Another insisted Solange wasn't her sister, but her daughter. Absurd? Yes, but absurdity doesn't stop traction. And the Carters' silence made space for every lie to take root. Most of these rumors never left the fringe, but some would soon be eclipsed by reality. Because in late 2023, the world saw the first real cracks. And the fault line began with an old friend, whose downfall could bring Jay-Z's entire house with it. Jay-Z and Diddy, two kings of hip-hop, two moguls in matching suits, glasses clinking at billionaire brunches. Decades of friendship, collaborations, shared stages, and whispered strategy. But in late 2023, that alliance became a liability. November. A lawsuit from singer Cassie detonates across headlines. She accuses Diddy of sexual abuse, violence, coercion, over 11 years. The next day, it's settled. Fast, quiet. But it's just the beginning. Soon, more lawsuits flood in, each one darker. Each one pointing toward a man who had ruled the music world, now being revealed as something else entirely. And through every revelation, one name remains noticeably silent: Jay-Z. He says nothing. Beyoncé says nothing. But pictures don't forget, and the internet starts to unearth a different history. Photos of Jay and Beyoncé at Diddy's parties, on Diddy's yachts, in Diddy's orbit. If Diddy was running a criminal empire behind closed doors, who else was standing in those rooms? The guilt by association begins to rise. And then, it becomes something else. December 8th, 2024. 4 days after Jay-Z's 55th birthday, a new lawsuit is filed in New York. This time, it's not just whispers. It's a direct accusation. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, claims she was 13 years old, that in the year 2000, she was drugged and assaulted by Diddy and Jay-Z. The details are harrowing. The story is disturbing. And the reaction? Earth-shattering. Jay-Z's camp responds with fury. They call it extortion, baseless, heinous. Jay himself releases a rare public statement, swearing to fight to the end. His lawyer accuses the opposing attorney, Tony Busby, of running a publicity stunt. Busby fires back, claiming Jay-Z's team sent investigators to intimidate past clients. It's not just a legal battle, it's war. But the damage is done. Jay-Z's name is now attached to one of the worst allegations imaginable. The very next night, Jay-Z is photographed smiling with Beyoncé and their daughter Blue Ivy at a Disney premiere. A family portrait, a show of normalcy, a message: we're untouchable. But the internet isn't buying it. 50 Cent mocks them online. Critics speculate whether Jay-Z's high-profile NFL deal, his involvement with the Super Bowl halftime show, could be pulled. Even the NFL responds publicly, vouching for Jay as a great partner. When the National Football League is forced to defend you, you know the headlines are hot. Jay-Z and Beyoncé have spent decades mastering image, turning betrayal into music, turning rumors into silence, turning flaws into platinum. But this is different. If more allegations surface, if the case escalates, if Jay-Z can't disprove it, the empire could fracture. The man who once said, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman," now finds his business on trial. And Beyoncé? Her loyalty, once celebrated, now becomes a question mark. Will she stand by him? Or is this where the kingdom begins to crumble from within? They built a billion-dollar dynasty, from the projects of Brooklyn to the stages of the Super Bowl, from church choirs in Houston to royal status at the Grammys. They were music's power couple, black excellence. Flawless, strategic, divine, but maybe no empire is truly unshakable. Jay-Z and Beyoncé now face their greatest test. Not a scandal they can flip into a tour, not a rumor they can outlast, but something darker, something real. As the lawsuits multiply and the truth claws its way to the surface, the question remains: Will this be another page in their myth? Or the end of the legend altogether? The story isn't finished. But one thing is certain, heavy is the head that wears the crown.